So, I came down to Mississippi today. It's cold. I think it's 56 degrees, 55, 56 out. Sunny though, so that's a good thing. But I know what's been working. Drop shot, Texas rig grub, and jigs. I'm trying to stay away from jigs. I used to fish them way too much. I know basically know how they work and want to try some new things. But I've been drop shotting a 4-inch finesse worm, which gives some pretty good results. But I was out. Didn't have any more grubs. Didn't have any more finesse worms without drop shot weights. Still had the hooks, so I didn't need to get more of those. But I found the Zoom ones that I used, but they didn't have the color for finesse worms. So I picked up the Zoom grubs. I got them in a green pumpkin. It's a watermelon seed, a little darker. Darker colors usually work better this time of year, but they didn't have the color of finesse worms I wanted, which was unfortunate. But I found the Berkeley Havoc bottom hopper in the color that I use. Never drop shotted those before. They're 6.25, 6.5 inches, which is bigger than I usually throw this time of year, but I'm thinking, hell, why not? What's the worst that can happen? Catch one big one. I'll take one big bass over 10 quarter-pound bass any day. I love McDonald's French fries. So good. But I'm gonna finish eating, head down to the water. No one's here. There's one car driving around, but they're not stopping there at all. So I'm hoping no one's in my favorite spot. Should be a good day. I'm gonna finish eating. So I'm down at my favorite spot, which is one of the docks here. Anyone can fish it, honestly. But as soon as I come down, I notice something really nice. A bunch of shad are being chased around, splashing on top of the water, jumping out, trying to flee. So I'm going to start with a little more aggressive approach other than drop shot, which is the Fat Albert grub on the bottom. First cast. Tiny little bitty guy, but yeah, look how tiny that little guy is. But first cast, hit it right next to the dock. I knew shad were being chased, so I thought the grub would be a good idea. I noticed something about Mississippi. They chase shad like crazy, but if you're throwing something that looks like a shad, like white, gray, silver, they're not gonna hit it. They're gonna ignore it. Whether that's a fluke or it's gonna be a good day, I don't know. That itty bitty guy just crushed it. Right next to the dock too. But you just get some crazy hook sets when they're that close. There's been a few times that I've yanked them clean out of the water while doing a hook set that close. So, oh, that was a bad cast. one next to the dock. I'm just gonna throw it right along the dock down to the other side. See if anything happens. I don't know. Might have followed it out of that tree I flipped it into. Can't be 100% sure though. A lot warmer in the sun, which I like. There's a snag there. That might have been what he was hanging out on. What I love about the grubs is they catch bass of just every size. This is the kind of grub that I threw on the slither rig, if you've seen the video. Big bass on slither rig. Which, I mean, I thought about setting that up. Add a little more weight to this, because this is really lightweight. A lot lighter than I would normally throw in a bait caster. There's just shad darting everywhere. I can see them all. The water's muddy. That's why I'm happy I'm throwing darker colors. Say this much. Lightweight is hard to cast a little more accurate. I can't feel the weight at all. Yeah, I can't feel my bait whatsoever. If this spot don't pan out, I'm gonna go to the spot I really, in the last video. Drop shot worked really well there. The grub worked really well there. Because I just know that that's where the smaller ones hang out this time of year. Bigger ones are usually in the dying lily pads. I think I will rig up the slither rig today. I haven't thrown that in well over a month. Gives a little bigger profile to the grubs. Maybe I can get bigger bass. That'd be nice. sun definitely makes it warmer. It is cold. That's why I really like wearing this flannel. Insulated and everything. Wow. Can't believe I just tried that. I have a feeling it most definitely will be a slow day. Unless I can find them. I think they really need to fix this dock because you stand on it long enough, it sinks. Yep, I really want to pick up a drop shot. I've never used these Havoc bottom hoppers. Havoc bottom hopper in the green pumpkin. It's about 8-10 inches leader and a 3/16 pound weight. I might cut back. Might not. I'd make it lighter. I don't know. I'm gonna fish it really slow. Got it Texas rigged instead of like nose hooked. My hookup ratio is a lot better and they don't come off. I don't know why, but like got it Texas rigged on a 1/0 Berkeley Fusion extra wide gap. I love the Berkeley Fusion hooks. They're lightweight. I've never had one bend out. Even pulled logs in with them and never had them bend out. They're awesome hooks, really, really sharp. And they have multiple sizes for everything you could possibly need. They even have drop shot hooks, which is what I use normally when I'm throwing a 4-inch, but when I'm throwing something bigger than a 4 or 5-inch worm, like the Texas frigate. This gives me that little better confidence with the hook set. I don't really know why, I've never had a fish come off and drop shotting with a Texas rig. I've had hits and not get them, but if they're really there, I've never missed them. bottom hopper had some awesome action to it. If I end up having to downsize, I'll downsize. I'm hoping I don't have to, though. I've only fished drop shot for a little over a month now. It never really caught my attention, and then I was like, I'll just try it. What's the worst that could happen, right? Then I end up having my best day of bass fishing while fishing drop shot. It was just insane. I think the biggest one I've got in drop shot right now was a little over 5. The tournament I fished back in September was the first tournament I tried drop shotting, and I found this little drop off. It was in a backwater of the Mississippi, lower lake, up by Savannah in Illinois, and it's just a little bitty drop off. It goes from 2 or 3 foot, and it drops quick off to 5 and 6. And I was throwing it right along there, and first time I dropped it down, I would cast it towards the bank and then bring it out towards the boat going down that drop off, which is an amazing thing to do with drop shot. You find a drop off, either say you're from the bank, you can fish it up it, which is a little more tricky because you gotta be careful. It's really easy to get your weight stuck that way. Or if you're in a boat or you got a dock that you can get out on, if it goes out far enough and fish that drop off, or fish horizontal with it, or parallel with it, and you can have amazing success fishing a drop off with a drop shot. And I hooked into one keeper at that point, and it wasn't a good tournament. We got one fish, ended up being that one I got on drop shot. Caught a bunch of itty bitty ones like that one, that first little guy I had. Missed, that's a rock. Missed quite a few big ones. My dad missed a really big one. It was a co-angler tournament. Got one. I think this might be the same little guy. These little bitty guys are just crushing it. No, it's not the same one. Ooh, got you in the eye, buddy. You okay? Yeah, he's fine. Itty bitty guy. This worm is as big as he is. And he's still crushing it. And, well, they're here. They're just not very big. It's crazy. If you know Andrew Flair, if you've seen his videos, I guess they'd say this is a flare fish. Because he always catches small fish or whatever.
Yo, get it twisted. This rap shit is mine, motherfuckers. Fucking game. Fuck what you heard. It's what you hearing. It's what you hearing. Listen. It's what you hearing. Listen. It's what you hearing. Listen.
Like these drop shot weights here. I don't remember what ones these are, but I haven't fished with these a lot. I don't know, for some reason I just didn't like how big they looked. So I fished with like the, how can I describe it? Like a teardrop style with the brass up top, if you know what I'm talking about. Fished with those, used the 1/8 and the 1/16 ounce of those. But these, I watched a video, so I'm fishing with them. And how you could cut them off to make them smaller depending on the situation. Which right now this weight seems to be working. Well, can't really tell it's only been one fish, but I like the idea that you can cut it off with pliers and like snip it down to lighter weights if you need them. And I noticed something with these weights too is I get a lot better feel of the bottom. Like, not just because it's a heavier weight than I usually am. It's a 3/16 of a 1/8. Isn't much of a difference, but I can feel rocks on the bottom. I can feel logs on the bottom. Whether I'm pulling it through muck and grass, or as it is right now here, dead lily pads. It's a lot better feel. I mean, like there's a log right there, but I got it on 8-pound stren, which I moved away. I used to fish Berkeley big game 10 and 12 pound all the time. I thought that line was really good, which for some like walleye fishing, I love using it for walleye because it's tough. But I got a spool a while back that was no good. Every time I tried multiple different knots. And every time I went to set the hook on a fish, it broke off. Either at the knot or a few inches above knot. No frays, brand new line. So I thought, okay, it's just a spoof. Might have been a bad spool. So I decided to go back, spend some money to get another one. Got 12 pounds instead of 10 pounds. Thought that might have been the difference. Same thing. So I went, got stren instead. And my dad always like, why don't you just get stren? I've never had any problems with it. Low memory, really tough. That's for sure. I mean, I flipped over a branch with this one time, throwing a weightless Cinco. Don't know if I have that on video. I don't know. I don't think I did. But flipped over a branch when Cinco hit the water, and a 2-pound largemouth decides to crush it as soon as it gets in the water. So I'll have it hooked up, hanging over a branch. So I was like, great, it's gonna break me off. I was able to pull that fish up, flip it up and over the branch. Luckily the branch was like 4 or 5 feet above the water. It was a bad cast. And when I got the nose of the fish up, I was like, great, it's gonna pop the hook right then and there. I'm gonna lose it and catch the tree branch. I was lucky enough to fish flopped. Came up and over the tree branch, landed in water, slack line. I thought I lost it. It was still hooked up. It was just insane. I had no frays. The knot was still good. Retied it just in case, and had no problems with it whatsoever after that. So I just stuck the stren. I had 10 pound on at that time. Colder weather, I like to switch it to lower diameter, lighter line. So I switched to 8 pound recently. Same kind, stren original in the moss green. I just like the green. I think it looks better on the rod. But I've had no problems with it whatsoever. It's good. I'm definitely sticking with stren for now on. I know a lot of guys switching over to fluorocarbon, but I like mono. I like the stretch. I actually like the stretch. It's actually, the stretch of mono sometimes has actually helped me when I have a fish, like say, wrapped up. That fish is fighting. I think I'm gonna lose it. Line stretches a little bit, gives the fish a little slack, and most of the time, not always, it swims right out of that snag once it gets that little bit of slack. I've only had one fish break me off while I was using stren, and it wrapped me up in a bunch of concrete, and there's nothing I could have done. A bunch of concrete rebar that was on the bottom from a part where a bridge, the underneath of a bridge, they're redoing it and chunks fell into the water. So there's nothing I could have done. That water is really muddy today. Makes me wonder what's going on with the inlet tube. It's flowing in like crazy. But yeah, if this spot don't work out in a little bit, edit it, shorten it, maybe. Or just make it a part 2 type deal like I did last time. Yeah, I'll probably do that. It's just easier. Not to take the easy way out, but there's still the other side of the dock I haven't even touched yet, so bunch of trees laid down. And something tap it. Ooh, that wind is cold. That's not fun. Okay, there we go. There for a minute. I got caught in the tube. Oh, I could definitely do without that wind right now. Body's warm because the flannel, hands cold.